Amazon Eve lives in California. Standing at 6'8", she is the tallest model in the world.
You never get lost in a crowd. I can pick anything off the top shelves at grocery stores. I like the fact that I can clean the top shelves sometimes because I dust to the top and I really don't do well very low.
Hello, what's your name?
Diplodocus, 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 Diplodocus.
But being tall does have its cons.
I bump my head a lot. I do hit my head sometimes. Especially when I wear heels and I go into houses with normal door jambs. I'm as tall as the door jamb, so I stand up. Most standard doorways frame me perfectly. So. Dating is so tricky. It makes it very tricky. I've since had to take that. I used to have blinders. I wouldn't date guys who I couldn't look directly in the eye.
Obviously, there's not many males that are still taller than you.
Very few, actually.
Yeah.
Very few.
But do you find, like, you obviously don't discriminate against height? Do you date shorter guys?
Yes.
What's the
shortest guy I've ever dated was 5'4". He likes to think he was 5'5". He's only 5'4". He's a little, I call him a little Viking on steroids. He was stocky and had a big bushy beard, and he's a stand-up comic. He made me laugh. That was very important. I think laughter is important.
I see you walking in the club, making moves, getting love. You know you're sexy. Yeah, you flaunt it. Just shake that ass and flaunt it, baby. Yeah, get on it.
What's the craziest thing you've heard about your height?
Tosh.0. He's an MTV comedian who takes YouTube videos and comments on them in a very comedic way. Tosh, you know, she has a penis, but he used other words, of course. And you know, I'm a woman. It says that on my birth certificate. You know, why is it that just because I'm 6'8", I'm some kind of transsexual or something like that?
He knows you can beat him up, right? That's right. Fight Eve, you're gonna get a whooping.
I studied Muay Thai, I studied Aikido, I studied a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to get some ground tactics and Judo.
So with all these fighting styles under your belt, are you a confrontational person?
A judge once asked me in court, warning me, you know, you're very contentious. Objection, Your Honor, I'd like to change that word to pugnacious, please. Difference is, contentious is, like to fight. No, I like to pick fights. I like to actually get into it a little bit.
What about physically? Describe some of your past roommates.
I've had a roommate before that was a tall woman, and she just wasn't like me. She was not a person who was more private than I was. She didn't want to be in the public eye, so we parted company. But she was the one that introduced me to the tall club, and I will never forget her or relish our time. She really showed me where things were and what looked good for tall women in terms of clothing. We found what our resources were, but they're dwindling. That's the hard part. I think my favorite roommate was in college. He was an English fellow. He was tiny, and we got along great. His name is Raja. Sweetheart.
Okay, what about if I put you in a house full of Amazonian women? Would you be competitive or would you get along?
Well, if I was talking to my fans, of course we'd get competitive. we'd be out there fighting, seeing who's stronger, who's taller, whose feet are bigger. Off screen, we go, this is the silliest gig I've ever done in my life. I can't believe I make money doing this. We'd sit there and chat and joke, and we would, you know, we'd probably get real eventually, and there'd be spats, and we'd fight over, you know.
Who ate the last piece of chicken?
Yeah, thank you. We'd fight over who ate the last piece of chicken, and I'm sure Amazon Amanda would just be eating the chicken.
A random question, would you say you're spiritual or religious in any way?
Yeah, I am. Kind of a neo-Buddhist. I believe in a form of brand Buddhism that lets go, looks at the love, looks at the nothing, and lets go of attachments, lets go of symbolism. Changes my perspective, allows me to be more accepting, more open, giving, and I celebrate who I am.
Well, we know you're currently a model, but what were some of the other careers you've done in your life?
Wow. I've gotten to be a personal trainer. I've worked with people who are disabled. Post-injury, post-surgery, hip, knee, joint, back problems. I've worked in the field of law. I was a paralegal. I went to law school and I studied law enough to be a paralegal, and I worked in that profession for about 5 years. I tried to act, but the only kind of work I would get would be monsters and aliens in mainstream movies, or the token basketball player.
If you guys ever get the chance to meet Eve, it won't take long to realize she is an awesome woman. Her heart is big, she's generous, and just heaps of fun to get along with.
Stay true, be you.
Yep.
Be true, stay you.
Stay true, be you.
It still works. I wish I had, the ability to say it. By the way, great book. Went upside down.
They were made back in Worcester, Mass. Have aluminum baker like
With
glass.
these little drapes down, I became the wall. I'm so good at making a wall. Because I am now world's tallest pinup. I don't have a center fold, I have a center roll. There she is. Wow.
If you spend any time with her though, you're gonna realize you're gonna have trouble keeping up with her in conversation.
Still kind of looking at myself with a bit of incredulity. I don't believe it. An entomologist, it becomes iconoclastic. We have this aesthetis, xenophobia. You're very contentious. I'd like to change that word to pugnacious. It's pathological narcissism, solipsism. I'm solipsistic. There's a fine line between heroism and hubris. Reticular activating system. Diagnosis and solipsism is a philosophical self-centeredness.
We love you, Eve.
Supposing where the troopers always stop as we die.